This new adventure started only a year ago when a search consultant contacted me and asked if I would like to be chancellor in Rochester. I didn't know anything about the institution, so I asked the search consultant to describe the institution to me. He said, well, it's located in a shopping mall. And I said, oh. So then I said, well, how many students? And he said, well, about 400. And I said, well, because at University of Missouri, our enrollment was in excess of 60,000 students. So then I said, well, what programs? And he said, well, the campus doesn't really have any of its own programs, but there are 20 some other programs that the other campuses of the University of Minnesota deliver in Rochester. I think I ended that first phone conversation with a very polite thanks. But a shopping mall, 400 students, and no programs, I really have something else in mind. Over the next month, the search consultant was persistent. I did apply, and very fortunately, I became a finalist. As many of you recall, the finalist interviews were held both in the Twin Cities and in Rochester. And during the interviews in the Twin Cities, I remember listening to really polar opposite conversations. I was asked repeatedly in some groups to justify why the University of Minnesota was starting a new campus and why was I taking these precious resources away from the other colleges and schools. I remember thinking to myself during this questioning, I didn't think it was much of an interview, I really have something else in mind. But there were other conversations, one being with President Brunix, talking about innovation and partnerships, and the importance of making an investment in Rochester, and the return on that investment to the University of Minnesota and the overall state's economy. These conversations now perked my interest, and without them, I really don't think I would have made the trip to Rochester and continued the interview. When in Rochester, I have to be honest, the shopping mall concept for university still didn't grab me. Particularly since during my tour, and Gail remembers this, my hard hat and safety glasses obscured my view. I was breathing in drywall dust, and I couldn't really hear over the construction noise. But I was very impressed by you, the community, during a public presentation. Your enthusiasm and commitment to this new campus was front and center. On the return flight home, I contemplated the interviews and the position. My first thoughts were, I really have something else in mind. Cindy and I expected at some point to lead a moderate university, probably south of Missouri. But as my mind wandered, I began to reflect about my career over the past 11 years, working with 5 different university presidents at a large established institution. It occurred to me that I was spending all my time managing change. And if I accepted a leadership position at another established institution, I would continue managing change. But in Rochester, I would be leading a new institution. Here I could actually create change, not manage change. I always knew that as a leader, I wanted to be in a position where I could have an impact. And without question, the inaugural chancellor of a new campus could have or would have a major impact. These insights perked my interest in the position even more. Now, my office has this great view of the city, where I continually say to myself when I look out the window, there's the rest of the campus. When we give campus tours, we're giving tours of Rochester. Our student housing, our student health services, our student recreation, our student food services. Much of the problem-based learning for our students will be done in partnership with our community. You will see a little of us here, a little of us over there. And with the decrease in the overall number of students, we cannot meet our future workforce needs just by skimming off the very top high school students. We need to create learning models that empower many more students to achieve high academic goals. Now, I have this expression, measure us by our outputs, not by our inputs. I hope you see the connection. We are designing at UMR a personalized educational experience that promotes learning with understanding for all students. A special feature of our approach is to gather more information about what students know, what are the gaps in what they know, and how are they approaching problems. We want a student record to emulate a medical record, so our faculty can be diagnostic and strategic in their teaching and transform and shape that student's pre-existing knowledge in ways that help them organize new knowledge and hence learn with understanding. I know this creates a new role for faculty, cognitive guides rather than dispensers of information. Our core faculty at UMR will be cognitive learning experts and housed in a new Center for Learning Innovation. This faculty will use data-driven research on learning to create a learner-centered, competency-based approach in which the ongoing student assessment personalizes that learning for the student. They will design a curriculum enriched by integrated learning experiences. So, for example, the students will learn the math, the biology, the physics, and the chemistry in a health-related laboratory exercise, where students can connect health, humanities, and sciences in ways that deepen their understanding and appreciation of each. In this program, we will not ask our new students when they arrive if they want to become a physician, a dentist, an occupational therapist, or a health researcher. Instead, our program will build a common base of knowledge in the health sciences and serve as a springboard for our students to focus on and pursue a variety of careers in the health fields toward the end of the curriculum. It is at this point in their educational journey that the student will be in a much better position to decide if they want to go, as examples, to a medical or physical therapy or optometric program, or pursue a certification in clinical lab science, respiratory care, or radiography, or enter an accelerated master's program in biomedical informatics, public health, health journalism, or health-based entrepreneurship. And don't forget, please don't forget those health-related jobs that don't yet exist. Now, student interest in the health sciences is burgeoning, and shortages in the health-based workforce will be ongoing. So our distinctive undergraduate program in the health sciences will serve a fertile market niche well into the foreseeable future. You know, it is really difficult to speculate how best to create new knowledge when the research world is changing so rapidly. But what we do know is research is a social enterprise. And recent trends indicate that new knowledge is being generated much more rapidly at the intersections of different disciplines. This is why I believe that the best research strategy for UMR is to develop research partnerships and not target specific research programs. Build the eminence and competitiveness by creating and nurturing research teams. It's a proven strategy. Just look at the success of the University and Mayo Genomics Partnership with the Biomedical Informatics and Computational Biology program. I am confident in an emerging plan for a distinctive UMR. It is informed by the changing landscape in higher education, and it adds through partnerships to the tremendous assets of this region. Another part of our signature is to be distinctive. In 5 to 10 years, when someone says University of Minnesota Rochester, I hope that you hear it is a great place to learn. And I also hope that you hear it is a great place to prepare for a health career.